talngim oh you narawrawal kalbalula lembalti karen
ya matang malungi total me kita rohui no sé del tunino ore sa tial momong ndas me elol mel episode tial Brussel aise o era do mule do sia asus mora ay budul maraklay ibirklay ma bilung ma ibirklay marugul ma asil marubul belaw dire ko do sia asus mora atakal president tergit vice president marugul mutlinga madal tial rogul mutlinga aurora tial government tergit tial am tergit rabul belaw ya togu betsil su samora rogul adel no civil guktunin e morel setial el momentat elol mel episode tergit tial episode tergit el alto tau tial shorgi del alto tau sindel ko adimo sada bebira igel lurol nam katmo ka center wad gora update taigel update tagal lurere del dot mo kragal del gira to gora conservation ma self research department marok kya kargi del alto tau nganya Ikelau Otto ma Christina Karanassos ngali Ikelau ngaya ko rawal chief researcher ya Christina researcher ko rawal center awela dolomol me ngaria ko update sa gel to ko awal announcement tra center mengaria ngwasa gel lerur te al aurora dirgang laas mrel to sigra tal adal mo aquarist ngel adal aurora maintain gel aquarium ra center matal mo maintenance technician ngaguk mo rosel to maintenance gora mal solilo se ulgum tamtigra adal electrician mudura dengi ako makalom sa dilay kaluro sa edel PICRC PICRC website selongerul el subdak mo sel 2026 tami irmong South China Environmental Award nomination among simra el al Friday tirgal adal solilo da sangak labolo ngek mo el al Friday along im lurol Friday November 28 ay gelo da selangak lam simra ay ang submit nomination ng Morsel PICRC Facebook page malubo ko la center tial environmental award aloruringa selangaria anniversary la center tablol award sa gidel mo subes akoram labes daw sa sembek lerurak ti remember every other year wal sumelar rakel 2026 at totor this year award the next year ng guktia gesel tange o siya tetel sel award was selong edel subda was sel luim aim el anniversary kala tickets adir gamrala otrulel to trigel ticket el mora sa 25th PICRC anniversary kala mensubil kontak tal siya center girela ora ticket malubeng guk kare adel solilo sing yakum ara ticket hindi soal di donate girel tagi del tokona center ko kontak tra center alwa ise bodo mura program rigid ma soal mo o almuto soal sa Ikelau Otto angel chief researcher agora center Christina Karanassos researcher itirga diakal gatingil metial show lamo tokol may el gora guk me update tagel gora latest lururul lang aria guk gora besel na dub misado longo kitrime guk ko ay sagal gora aguk tirgamil gatmokol tokol gira center mukwa di sakal mo o litra Ikelau mo bolo mulo ay sergidel gira lagat to gora research na center ay gwa latest
Ay manung ito tao marka mil quiz tulang asap. So one of the latest publications that are reports that came out was the Maragabsang Conservation Zone assessment. This was conducted last year in March, and the report has been completed and is now up on our website. So just going into what kind of a little summary of what the report was about. So this is a small MP. Maragabsang, if if you're unaware, is a small MPA in front of PPR, and this collaboration with PPR, Core State. PPR has taken it upon themselves to assist in enforcing and enforcing the boundaries of the MPA, the Marine Protected Area. And so our report found a couple of things interesting. So I'll just share those with you. It's a quick summary, but so one of the things that we noticed when we did the survey and we compared it to the previous years that we've surveyed there was fish abundance and biomass. So how many fish are inside and the sizes of the fish have declined over the years. But on the positive side, we've seen a lot every year that we've gone there. I think all but 1 year, we've seen kamaduk inside the MPA. And so protecting key species like kamaduk and mam are really good indicators of the protection. But also what we noticed was that there was the turf, so the algae that's growing on the corals, were really low, which allowed coral recruitments, and we saw an increase in the clams, macroinvertebrates. We saw an increase in that. So that relationship between herbivorous fish, the fish like parrotfish, rabbitfish, those that like to eat the turf, are doing really well in supporting the low algae. So that the baby corals can settle and clams can settle so that they can grow. Yeah.
Kahit tribal ko la. Kahit tribal ko la mo sa mga sa galo ko eblin ng anganya ro res kya salmal mating diaklo tigil especially mo dele. Ngmal ko ay Ikelau wasing. Tial PPR tigil diaklo doli sel madala tial Palau Pacific Resort. Se blag tang tingin el Tiagoro State ya ismri oro lo mengala PPR ma arwasentel gora trail wase kada magarang gora mutologi sitel basyo seguid el report lo gora nya Ikelau wase ala temlo tulmura aurora last year esa volmer tigit muklit tay report and you were saying fish abundance and biomass is good.
It's going down.
It's going down. I get this lang yung mamuklungan lamaral morio kora si it's going down based on the result report. Hindi selgora ang ilang udriya say mlamo seguidra lo motmoklari tialom sube mo subil mesarwa kamuduklo. Nastal galeng imra. Mga sa gigil muklog tutlel species warwa kamuduk mangim sel sumo kadmo rabasyo masang yang gora ngarin sel wasay tial el blue el basyo o ngarial arali ngarial wagut bakli ay gala malmol mon ko lasay ay gel gora yum turf alchi ngoguk tiagi drum su betedra lam tira sen walge grey leng betoka gigil mengelgela angigil nya mga yum So when you say the turf algae is less, it's less than the prior survey.
Yeah, it's going down over the years.
Oy. Sa algo temuro sa mlekloyum, ya gida nga lata melgora o mais lo uro say, yang wal oral mo gre selium. Elia dire kan palungil arut sa dula sa ayum damral mo gre. Le sel oral ayum mo gre. Yang wa ba ngari at lela gel magalgel amran del dubo. Le suguma bada del geda gara ayum yang beringra igel ni sel amran del mo brega de o me emral mo moklo. Sia ora lo si ni igela lo sing ora malungil arut del sa sel sia igelum dam lam mo sai. Lamo sa idol mesa igel gi species. En diesel togora say ngaram el simre qadi mal mo daqagil se egire del mutrospe agora muy lo sube el try figure out ndi nga ombrang el wase ay galngi la dia saka ni ndi kal drasay ali ge di mudu bertial madala PPR dia bodo to dra ge del buy magu moral wase ya ul mo gatal el simre qora wala kangil tirgel guk adra ka community la letsengar kom sangal qora ngara era gel kular wa alla mora ge abia logo la kum malaya qora mesangi gel la ngila muklen tangara el nya sub la tia al blul kasi ko na kung tito suwege, maumakseng maramang matatal al simre ko wala kaloran mo to kangi kala kung dasang ngari adal wala ngara era ay krele menjakal kitrala anding awun segida atara ko kumesya sing ako reason njakal lang yu silisel das mirabasyo kada mo dik mong girel maral mo to kangi siya udaswe.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point because there was actually two recommendations in the letter, in the report, and one was community support and awareness. So just understanding where the boundaries are, and we use MPAs because there's the buffer. Not the buffer zone, but we know that fish move. And so a lot of people like to fish just outside the MPA. And then that's a source for them to collect, to get good fish. And that's okay. One of the other recommendations was to increase the size of the MPA. Because Ngarkapsang MPA, the conservation zone, is very small. And if you think about fish behavior and home range is what they call. So like, I like to use the example. If you have a puppy, your puppy's not going to go very far. But if you have an adult dog, they're going to travel much farther. They can run throughout the entire neighborhood, whereas your puppy might stay at home. Which is the same concept in the MPA. Is if you have a small MPA, it's really good for baby fish or smaller fish that don't tend to travel very far. But as these fish get bigger, like the parrotfish or kamaduk or mum, as they get bigger, they start to travel greater distances, which then become outside of the zone of the protection. So those were two of the recommendations. Not saying that the MPA is, not doing a good job. It is. And then also one other thing, I just want to commend PPR for their efforts because they've been doing clam plants, out plants, and we're actually seeing that in the results. In that clam abundance in the MPA is significantly increasing, and it's thanks to their efforts.
Okay, Ikelau ko lasay. Sige report to digam namre ang ani tablo recommendation ngora wabolo lisi ay gagidel result malung otsusira yallom subel mo katmokle gagidel malmol ko lasay ela ngoro example arwa bilis leng ngosay selem gagare gal arm emplol ko di mange ibes rablay malung ko di mange ibes rama ori rablay ay gal bilis Isenal mo muklong sisiap ngel muklungang mong tobadara sakara bla emral sura atto narima emral waisi angigel mo waisi selem gegre engura di minge ibes ra alsel segi del ngarinya agel ugil wasit ya lom katak sel blul basyola madala PPR indi seloral mamuklo eng amral menge sura adire kal sebed wasay mga esu lang mo ngosong sakal let tokol muklunga mo ngas sakal maul tumumral mo oy drosi nakal ya magagaling la ulmi dinga alsela magdugudum lo mure dinga alsela adire kal salmom dinit yakul basyo mong make sense Ikelau make sense wasya ulma sa overtime 12 alti labrar videos ako moral wasay gegidum gegrel wa herbivores lingig lingig mga yum mga ay kita mlamot mautel mlamot togel dim gegre men dakar ada soril lo mal ngara mung maumit kertil palci mung malung ila arngut ngge kita gelal molmon merasa kada mal mereng asula PPL malo ba blak ring gora amlas mlo o malal magim ramadal sei dire ko ngosira ogot makle sei gil madala PPR Mangmakal kara tara urol hal di bok tiri al daga radio mul direkal gora mo ular atra bulu bolo dange urela PPR Tial Palau Pacific Resort asiral ko tlo mo ulmerela akbilo du ringel adro gora urol gira gagidri to gora ale chure en wasa al gotro pera PPR tulurol magitra hotel ma turista o sisulta meteder gora millas mlo legi se morio mala galto togora wa oriom elata mla expand el morada مثل expand الموضوع بتدريج الورولو با القرى سيدو ولا المروان براند ملا سبق كلاضا بأوسي سلطة من كلهم يلا رمضان هوتيري مال مسيسي أوريري الجيرة القرى تقرا نيتشر may lahat ng arinyal dula sa nature center lom ko oring. Eselbol mrek segit. Ito ko ramala sa involve vertikal okyak. Maselemen da kadilmel mal albak kelma hotel me iwayo. Sabil ko ra adina ko ramala makim tamalan mamrand. Enchot yal mga lungilay gel programa PPR mo. Ngungila rudel mo din lasay. Agal to ko ra conservation makora o mga riyo mal maot maklela da. Ada kadil nga regal lobis murulay gigidulur. Mula start lo mergel mora a private lo kumbali amla mosal involved brother lokot maklele. Ya aku mura lasay. Aku timan siya na PPR hindi ko mura lasay. Ay gar rogul ko ra ba hotel operation maramar bailaw. Arogul malat ket kay gito. Sorry lo lasay kada. Ako spare tial daw. Madagat makli do ngoro moringil mongil. Mabolungi ri dar business el mongil ra tial. Tial nagarakil la alugel aklang ra daw bra blue bela Selbo dami sa gigid rural way sigid el adra blue private businesses marang amo involved way sigid. Hindi ko ra awal ela bari gra alwa center mamani source mitmangal bababla ring sorry mutmok la gigid rural lang. Kadam lamo imol blue mururing lurur. Okay, wow, very interesting. I'm glad the report came out with some pass, although the biomass is getting lower and lower. I think the recommendation is that's what's happening. Mungmil ko igala say, mal ke gre sel blue basyo, maditaro le ko ra mo sweder ko ra protect tay gagi ko ra moklunga langi ma umrolel, akalet sedel ko tilgibil gilungi. Mabol sa illegal ngigil ngara madara PPR umura bol ngosong sakale lang maral ko ra budulang ru umure ko kulmuk temral may mera madara PPR segi de nyam asbedel ladru tul mosurbe as edelo mesa maklol ngigileng mbay sa tay report tay gila say amoklong lang ngigil adi ako wadi loral mo ngwe ma di sila gil maklol ngigil sila say density biomass. Wow, that's very interesting Ikelau. And I'm sure you guys are not only working in PPR, you have some other, you want to just kind of summarize your other project about MPAs and all that?
Yeah. So PICRC has a long-term MPA monitoring program. We monitor the protected areas network, all the marine protected areas within the protected areas network, and we do it every 4 years. And so we've started this year to survey all of them. And so this survey is started in August, and we're going to go all the way until next year, August. So we've already finished 4 MPAs. Ngalugos in Yesar, ngar Madalim in Melgeok, Madal Ngadiyul in Iray, and Yesar, ngar Masin in Ngartmao. So we finished those MPA, the Marine Protected Area surveys in those sites. And then we pick it up again in January. From January until August, we have at least 1 marine protected areas that we're surveying every month until then.
Okay. Elang dire lang nata ruwa Ikelau lo mesaigel blue basura tal babal dabrogi. Gagi del morgo lasing botol basyo mo balga gara akluludo da dolas murura bekra matumna ruli lasing mem do mesing selbek lewara melang ulmul segi de lo singira beklewarra el arra mela melmutre lang ang wablabol mereka klong milko la sensel esar mairay mamalgayok mangartmaw ay gel blul basira ay gagi de klal blul black pass amla mo mereka urel kira malmol mulurol alexira mo tulbuil ito urol mulmol الغرة تغرى بلان الوصي سل أوغوستنا لكسي يبلادرو لقال روغوي بالبشر قال بلو. You want to just briefly touch, so when you go to this different NPA, what are you trying to measure?
Yeah, so we have a number of different indicators or things that we're looking for, and we keep it the same every year so we can notice the changes. So we look at fish, biomass and abundance, so how big they are, and then the numbers. We look at macroinvertebrates, so these are clams or sea cucumbers or any kinds of shells that we like to eat. We count them. We look at baby corals to see how well the baby corals are settling in an area. And then we either look at seagrass coverage or we call it benthic coverage. So whatever the bottom of the reef looks like, what kind of corals, what kind of algae, what kind of sponges, all of those things. Those are the indicators that we look for. Am I missing anything? I think that's it. Yeah, and fish.
Why say? May gagawin del blue basyo sa talboloro niya tigal galaw matimirtinas entel mo mutmok la subel. Ito mes ayel to spera to mo indicators. Ngigel domes malmol molomes el malara kamarak mo sebe del masakura wild chances Wa mo sebe del masasel sel el ngade elay gagawin del lomes el mga nganya to mes rangig sel bolo suba gagawin basyo to mes rangig mamaranda ar metial bertakl to meselo se tial bertakl ngariarwa ayun spansa maliak to arurot ngariarwa ayun marurot ma aigeya lo mesele ya malmuto ta lo mesini aigal tora tase to spera tola se inverte aigal alef marwadim Agegi agel clim lo mes el tal por agegi del vasio es el lo mes en se ve lo mes lo set que el vasio a condición en moral mo muknit ay do sa ingil moral mo baba mo magasay mamoklungel agegi agel gorawalo spe lo mes el bol lo rula lo mo kasubere agegi del rogul vasio ma again hindi na kal mention niya galan di haladik mention ni blol sel por agal blue yang cloluror ada sentra de glogamo los sos blol suadal gora oro lo ventritigel branches agel blue por si il mem se el gora oro de aurore el gap koblia auror la auror mo qabaql les el dil ada senteren to aurel mal bebira time ya ay galaw martela ga kumrura ga bebila up Akoram de gagi da ulmak mal blol setak petak koramal maglera tigal ranges regal state kasi sedet makakaya selurur yung maklurur maseldil ada sentere tamal utetarwa. Okay, that's very interesting. Did you have anything else you want to add to this, the summary of all the things you did for this year?
Not just that we really appreciate the support from the states to allow us to do this work. And once so it takes us a while. The reports will probably come out a year after we've completed the surveys.
This August. This August, all the survey should be done, and then year from there.
So that then we're already starting to work on the reports from these ones that were done, but because everything is lining up. But once the reports are done, then we're very happy also to do community presentations with the states and with the community members to share the findings of the surveys that we've completed.
So are you saying for the communities that are done, are you planning anytime soon to at least inform them what's going on while you continue to do the remaining MPA, or you want to finish all the MPAs and then do the community?
We usually wait for reports to be completed so that we analyze all the data first.
Okay.
And then we can share it all with the community.
Saulay galaw. Malkoy galaw wasagi imelmol mrulay gigi dulura regel maralmel MPA. Yagora meseri wasay self backlog to trail lolgori asay sel bol mera gay dro gulurior engiramul guk mo ogora arulla tamel mosmam moragal blu yaguk kwai setira elinya mal dolisi ngil togolen au ulma blu igala mo wal msisi ilolong sew tir klungil klawatna tungil medengek pasay ngwarat yal gerger kamam rai gay dro community meeting makmal muktoras misi iselo sengal gedro asa blu say what's going on Lesellora la adul ilmomding la sengara ngani ma anglu sutril meregalure da amral momsisi. Kali sa diri segir. Okay, kamam sila Ikelau. El annex el bodo gukto sadri adira el tala ora mal digitilo report el guk Christina min etmoklin lo bengela ra omsubulunut mo kinilo mungela Koro State. Ma kumulit ni mong kuradi mo maskita a background sel report books mo amin tial euro ruring. E ora dire mos mo dia amok tegni marogun. Okay, Christina.
All right, good morning. Thanks, ASAP. So, this project was part of the Karor State Fisheries Monitoring Project. And it's looking at a spawning aggregation of the long-nosed emperor, melangmud. So just to explain what a spawning aggregation is in case people aren't aware, it's when fish of the same species gather at specific times and locations for the purpose of reproduction. So this is often linked to a specific lunar phase or certain times of the year. And there are many of these spawning aggregations around Palau. But a lot of them haven't been confirmed and studied scientifically. So what we did in this survey was we did a stereo video survey at the site to look at the density of fish. And also we did some gonad sampling, which is the reproductive organs of the fish, to confirm that spawning is happening. Because it's thought that this species spawns at night, so we weren't able to observe it.
Oi, elakele eurol gukut mo kaya Christina. Oro lo mungela Koro State. El malasam el gora olong sera Koro State ratogora agora fisheries management. Kita rogul mungela sei other bela rogul ker orora maldo mungela atial karger oror. Le orora kadora suadal motats se toka se ngoro israrat. Mbotokar adringil botokar aringi mral gire del لو سير Koro State المسبل الغوغار مع الابن صوب أقلا جايد التغيرة أنغليل ما أغرغير مو وسبل ملمول من ذاك الجيم ملان كريستينا من تمكر سيد الوريور الواسي ولو سير Koro State استلهم سبل التغوبت سلول مسرا أنغال نيجل ملان مود أتلا كلون من ترنتين سلهم سبل أسي ay gal malang mudong ngom ellerger tial el sela bela orior ya osisil time en mal mo ara moklungel mos bellom el dire lo sisil time wasay masel bolom el ya ga ngom ellerger se ay gir del to ya Christina milsu lo gutay delom suben e wasay awera gibo mo rur sub of course at miru ra ora surbe lo gargera adra blue mar adra ora lo ro bangela Koro State mala information agel da saying ule la base la tora research le adra blue adi way sayid el tigal adra omget adi way sayid e malo la ba to information el gire la ngi el matemel marogul masala lo gargera ngora wablo tora blue la say ay gal malang mud el al club say mung tangilu say information me agora start mo say dom subire masala bolong mo ko telom subireng tel to kalulmes tulmes ay gel do rasing kal do belangigel ay gel ngigel amek kal di bring il basyo tulmes ay il basyo bel kal di bring angigel o si silta met tulmes la say selbel kal di belay gal ngigel el malasam lo el yung wangara abuil ma bekloy garal buil ya o si silta yung wangara abuil malubang garmen tial bun face ay gigi daro gulul subo mata me amilet mo ko say when you say direct taralul mesin nga say Tumlo to mesa gigil you also include the market market surveys
The market was part of it, yeah.
okay te dire ko ra ulo mesa gal magit lo mesa ro malang mudel me o mesa segang wa mutemelo mel and you were saying before you start to work you was a strong belief in the community that the malang muda spawn at night.
I mean, and also from scientific studies of other species, other species in this family, they're all spawning at night. So it was thought that the melangmud spawns at night.
Oh, okay. Sige, tingin lagi information mo start mo ngat mo kurtialuror, mo mal interesting sel lom subul mo kuri lang mo subidi ra se mo mal mga tetelela. Hindi mo swal mos mo di sel sa sel dura sa spawning aggregation. En sel ngi kilamet makal roguy ra osisul temela abuil waseng tabel buil wala giru etemet make omele sia la sel tokolo niya sa spawning aggregation. Ngi kilamet maki. Okay.
Yes, so for the results, what we found was from the gonad sampling, we were able to confirm that they are spawning around the new moon at night. And then also that the aggregation occurs around the new moon with a peak on the day of the new moon and one day after. And then also the highest fish densities were from February to May. But we did find that there was an aggregation in every month of the year.
Okay. Ngagi din mo ko ka Christina wasi. Ta lilut luabol sisi ay gel lom subul nam katmokraw el wasi. Moralom el sel korab u kabisesengay. When you say at night, that's like around dusk or like evening?
Yeah, so we sampled at different times of the day up until around 10 p.m., but we didn't sample from 10 p.m. to like 5 a.m. So it could be anywhere between there. Yeah.
Anyway, mula bala katakla set mula walo el agi kira sigil el gora mel tasils ra you were saying it's a new moon. Sel tal sils ra sel oral mo o toba buil etira gora mo udurtire. Engegi di milugo lo asay. Esel markroli dois rangil momel mula sama masang sel tal sils lo era tababuil matabul buil matal sils lo ra tabul buil seguida nya markroli dois ra malang muda mot makar seguidil basyol lol goring la sang mo ringi omel.
Yeah, and then the whole point of the study was to provide recommendations on the new fisheries management plan that Kurur State developed. So we recommended in the report that the aggregation should be protected around the new moon and also to expand the area of protection. So from our video surveys, we found that there were high densities outside of the area that's proposed for protection. So we recommend increasing that area. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, temno masabal na kalom sube of course it git makla report ma ko state. Ya tara ko ramne wiga sel tara ko ongi tasig. Ko al sebele bom le so you're saying right now the spawning aggregation site is not protected. It's an open area.
Yeah.
Okay. Mataram le recommendation tila sing ti ako ra maklo to tel basyo ng makli bringan kilomel. Le sebela ko state ko ra awan le clean mo o wado da sing bil el gorak medo vai sel bil nga ano ma gagi del buil mo gagi del buil and ako la lang. Sorry Christina, I forgot one important comment you mentioned. You said from January to
February to May was the peak.
Christina de sang ultud tay dromsu etam lomri am tigla say sel February mo ramay seguida sel de bor seguida particular sel de bor seguida el basyo nya mali mislop toy sa egal malangut muto espera toda se pic agida el pic man se agida el buil lo meleril sen malkrol rol ngara February mo ramay endi tira o marang el besa utibe bira information lo lable to tulmes tel basyo rora ito umra say hindi tial mo kuldible omel whole year hindi sel likela mel mo enti mo great ya why sel longerul buin mora o email buin sige dal bablo le sa Christina lo se apik mans malolo niya say serabol mektalom sub etelom tigla sa ako teng lagi do niya ta ko steta sen park close to trek tial basyo letya rol rangin kelel se mil gora ekli ilmo malubem gora mo o so claim malakal ngem tay gal gigil mo umel sa tara ko ram recommendation tin e dire ko wase seguir el basel el ringi lo melenga gal ngil ablol bitig ringi lo say ngora wal tilgibil ngala krel sel goros teita tilit kilo se game mo meset tay basyo malol ko niya Christina say ngora recommend sa report ma korste ta sei kale tiagi basam tilati kale simil simingil me do digi tiagi del bel di brinyangi kala bekerage mo mal interesting ay kalom subeleng of course ado mga damdina sei amalang muda bodo tigin ngirgera o wangara buira o ngral hindi gigi del kora wado dula sing maggerel tingile wai gigi del kora to kora ako na champi mara nga gegu kwa adro mbada de al badel lo mesa yegi tu tio mesa sia sia ngi la dam la ngi rawang rabuil ra o ngal wang ratel di la buil ra o ngal buil very interesting Christina ma gegi del lom subulul mutmakla Christina segi ngegi del mo kasi agi mal dim lo mo mutmakla sub e o do silma ko state lo ngela gi recommendation mela ko state ta tingil mo omes omes lo say magarabo lo spay gi del information el mga mo korsel el dula sengoro state Southern Lagoon Fisheries Management Plan Christina milgora ulelak mlabe sa ulmong no motmo tialom sub tia sub ulgora wal dolong lela gora roof ma gora state government amot mag gora mlat kel motmo kurtia idrom sub mo gora mo mding lo sia angin ngom elerger mangwara bodolas milgora besbak mendiakal ngem dangin getial bel oriore sia gora mal mle klol lo dasel no ulmot tialom sub amil getmo ngara dolong lela gora state ma. Okay, very interesting, Christina.
And I don't know if you mentioned that we presented the results to Kuror State already.
And
I guess it's up to them if how they want to amend their management plan.
I see.
Sorry, and there's also the technical report is out on our website, and there's also a publication which has been accepted, but it hasn't been published yet. But once it has, we'll post that on our website also.
Oh ja, Christina, se sabor mektalam suba gimna subit ada Kuror State mta ada Kuror State tam ngina tial el sila subela Christina. Sil time ndire mulgo ya Christina la sei. Sel technical report am not told and this scientific publication sel ngutya report mola ulolela blul ad material hakasela bek padingla blul ad el samarera subelangi glas il muy bonita gamenta adirgak engegi del morgo la sei selbol mreka segi del scientific publication selbol mrek en sama mulmutil me o aisel.
No, it's been accepted.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for it to come out on the paper.
Oh.
And it'll go up.
Ome, koram na daktalugin raw siya. Ang kagita Ikelau klat nga kasi. Hale, let's just elaborate a little bit about this report. Maybe some people are, what's technical report? What's you want to just quickly summarize that?
Sure. So our technical reports are a little bit more geared to the community and the national government, so that they go through reviews within PICRC, and depending on what the subject is, maybe to some of our outside partners for reviews and comments. But the technical publications, scientific publications, they go through a very rigorous, difficult review process. So say, for example, this paper that Christina just published, it's on fish and fish aggregation. So when she submits it to this journal for publication, they then send it to fish experts, specifically on aggregation, to review it, to confirm whether or not the methods and the results all make sense and they're sound. And this is a very difficult process because sometimes there's a lot of questions from the reviewers, or there's edits and comments that needs to be addressed. But once those happen, then they become published into their scientific journal, and then it's out there as a resource for other work in the similar field.
I see. Oo, yung kung mo taklay galalo asi. Sel do technical report, and you get report kudukut maklaw ro rakmo oral state may mal di mo usila se okay o ngara ko mulingit rama magimno mo krtiduror ay gagida 8 sini ay gagida result taluror gimno mo kunin. Seguid report adi reviewing al sel hablar ora brief al baby ensina ora ya partner essential comment. En this seguido la scientific journal, seguid sel kodulo siya babel lo dorsil mora Ablulad la se kama mamingit mo ko tayi duluro ra or le langi gra blur belaw. Magdo do silmo ablulad. Masel do silma yayi la sing scientific journal. Tirgel adl ko o mesa yayi to science. Tirgel gidel ada agora adimmer re adriburing as okay agimla accept ni agimla ko ngila se oy hala gi modo silmo tirgel mut ngar babel tirgel mut mudura tayi el field mo mesni. Masegi reporter ya Christina mla accepted. Melat mo start reviewing. Masel lo silmur trigel direl matmok la yagi tora or le langi el marara mleliyo kabulad. Ito mo mes start gora o mesngi gamen review mase tega ka amang time. Ngagi da gelal mo kasi titugol el biblit email melo gerida si gamindim la mo mes tagi marang. Malsumong siangal sel yang gukira del mut gamen tel mol do elagi mong klol gamat process anyway sel at the end sel sumong la mongila rogoy mata publishing segi de nyam la mo scientific journal malubang report el madera a website el ngi dil adal ngara blul adal musubangi gra adabela afrika caribbean as el los penil gora awa dire ko turingi e gora mru laurele lo mesa sela da sel ngar bela tukuk mil garang garang elang kaji dro sisiling la nga Caribbean eng magara kukto kutmok kunil gil kaji tora sia tetela gil tlo report ngadim sa kabul batak sei technical report agel diget maklaurol me erusha report to isa state sei agigit mukiti dror magay da 8 sini ese scientific report sesel morawlo la blulade. Wow.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight the reason why we do a lot of technical reports is to get the information out as quickly as possible.
Oh, I see.
They still go through the same process of our analysis and stuff, but it's just because that process for scientific publications take such a long time.
Right, right.
So we want to make sure that the information gets out, that
Yep.
it's valuable for the community and the government.
So, ngwa di lilutlo mkatra agala sei aul mai gal technical report ta ngwa di bot kada ngwa do re del subdia bulula sei agim le aurora agam lo mre le rulbul mtiagi da au result aurun menti adra bulul mre del mom nge gal guk tora science agire del الغرة ملارا عريبيورا بلولا هذا مثل توض الممكن بقول الطبل انديرك الغرة وال بوين ترجيد بوين تراسنتر ولا شيء اسنتر كان تريبيوت المرسل الدلل اي قال تقرا ساينس بلولا ملا سيجي سنتيفيك ريبورت الدور توض يا سنتر ما بلولا هذا شيء قبل دار ساي ما الملو اشرب بلولا هذا شيء ابيلا غير يا سنترني انديرك المطمق لا جاي دلور ما جاي دا 8 شيرا ورير اوف كورس اقول هذا شاب بلولا ما ريفيو من مدى سيجي التام سيسي الأدرا بقولوا الأدرا مرورا أو سيسي لورور أسي الموسبي الغرا أديرك اللي المسيتيرا سلقو كلوت مقلا أو ريري رجعي الأورلا يجرار قبلوري ما لوني لا وما المساولة قالوا أو ما كريستينا مقلا قال ما لوني لورور كده لا أبو الوضع ما سنتير يجي ده أقوم براسي يجي ده الغرا مسيسي لورير هذا مرة أقول من ديرك السبب الغرا او مثل بدول اجي القرى وقت على راجل سعودو الجيران واجي اجي دلوري اسي ادلو مثل مو لنسي لو مثل ريبورت كده سي يعتري على هذا سنترا ده القرى دي مثل سيلين معلومه التورا دي ولا لا تورور تلقى مرال بلاغندي قام شو مغاري اخوان تلقى اجي دلهم شو بلا اور لانجي مسوتري راسي ست اقول مال يا ما اقول مقسم قمرال مساول مطلق ايد لون لورور لن نسمسي اي تيال سينيور كده تيال reputation center سميش يا reputation center إذا كان contribute المرا international scientific community سيامال دوران أسولو الجيل ترو nga أو مرا لوسي أجل بيبي ناتران تيجي لابريرو راسي grass al assume you want to elaborate on the upcoming grass community meeting or something that you're planning to do what do you summarize why do you need to do the grass in the community
so thank you for that point, Asap. So we have this collaboration with Stanford University in California, and they've been doing surveys here in Palau since 2023. And so they have a few sites around Palau from Peleliu to Ngurarth, and they're surveying all of these different areas to understand the seagrass communities. I think some people know that the seagrass have been declining in some areas. And so we've been partnering with Stanford to try and get an understanding of what might be causing this, because seagrass is a very, very important habitat for nursery, as a nursery for smaller fish, carbon uptake, and then also, dugongs and turtles and stuff. So it's a very important habitat, and we're trying to understand what's causing the change. So these are collaborators from Stanford. They've been coming to Palau doing some surveys to understand what might be causing it. And so they're wrapping up, and they wanted to come and explain the results to the community.
Okay.
So we have 4 community presentations coming up in the next couple weeks. To Ngartmao, Airay, Ngatpang, and Yewal. And so there'll be more information on the exact dates, times, and locations. But there's those 4 presentations that are coming to the community. They're going to be in the evenings. And so just keep a lookout for more information on when we'll be in those states, talking about the specific results from those areas.
Oh, yung mga kailan sa 2023 ya center ma sa Stanford University. Ako kumlot makal ko ra kayo sa loror, lang nga nga school solil ko ra malaba biling ra dito ko ra sigras. Mato mlolit tiya say. Kame mo uso ko ma mlo sa say. Tial sigras sa bur bela ora mdi mral ngomada. Abasyon niya malmle umul ko ra sigras, ay lat time obong ko ra. Onse sangere ko ra, ko di jah malare niya ko di magliugo. Melat tiragamle ngal ka Stanford sa 2023 aurora itin ma center mo tmok la gagi dolorior. Lang gagi da Ikelau ay so say tamla mo mregal gora awal gatmok lagel 8 ureri mensoril merbelau gore mo bentri rarwa Ikelau tamragal agel bulul mil gatmok niya gatma
Ngartmao, Airay, Ngatpang, Mangiwal.
oy niwal gatmao Airay ngatpang agil klal bulu atriya ira Stanford lo mgala ka gora riff miru labrora sigras sa yegit mela selme tmok maktira may gala Ikelau mo o presenta el result. Enga kita Ikelau wasay. Wadis adira ka sal malmo mutbela temel mara, maka di mo informer adra bulu wasay. Malo Ikelau nga mama ko ora blumi e presenta el result. Again, mulko Ikelau sa sigara saman klok tute ngalela masagiw, ngalela oil, e dire kan mal mulu trak klo ligel daseng carbon dioxide tial melidiut. Mengmal giredel dire kan babla kareng ko amot mok legal sigras mende algem mal interesting I hope interesting sele presentation team agel result and sa mo dia say what's goes ngram muru legal sigras mo kuna di ngomada. Well, we're 2 minutes past the hour, so would you like to say something before we close? Any last word?
I just wanted to say a thank you to the community in the States to allow us to do these types of work. It's very valuable information to understand what's going on in the community, in the marine environments. And each state, each MPA, helps inform Palau as a whole on how our reefs are doing. So this is very important, and we really appreciate the support from the community and the states and national government.
I see. Oy, maral toy gelo koy gala ko maral dimna asila adra blue. Maro gul adal lolo sa gagi to ra urore national ma state government. To wetsa adra blue dira lolo sa gal urore sel debora gal garo state. Mong ngilar ngudel matingel wasay akata motmok lauror e molmolmo. Lo ay sa adra blue say gal wara lurol gimot mok la gagi da ko kotsu singi gagi da wal result ni magada مغذول الغرة واضح كلاوذ البكلا يمول بلو مرال البذولو لو ببلغ الملمول من المتمقلة جايد التغرة ذا بيدي قلت تتلذغ تمقلة ذا بيدي اللي تانا غرة أول أيقن تانا يجي الغواسي بيلاو يا بتلو لأذرا غرة فوريني الغرة أو تسادا سي a beautiful ocean أجي غرة من سادر غرة جيب برسي جدي كما أمام سولك ترو كريستينا.
I mean, just to reiterate
Oh.
Ikelau's point,
Yeah.
thanking Karor State also for allowing us to do this survey in their waters. And also we had funding from the Great Barrier Reef Foundation through their Resilient Reefs initiative, and also the Irish Aid Our Shared Ocean program for this spawning aggregation survey.
Abe-san, like what I said before, we're doing a good job, so people are willing. Ang Christina man ko sing mahal di sal mut mereka sila Coro State, la se ko man nam sal mas bedel mut mokol tagi dulurior. E dire mil mo ay sing ay gel ngesra audo del mosbel gut makritalom subong momrek. Lara sel Great Barrier Reef Foundation ng Australia Irish Aid. Again, ako lang natouch niya before, yung kagita Christian by malamut ng mga takli, sel doru raw ng ilurior, el blakatak le daw ay sa result ng mga gagawin scientific community marang, gagawin adal ko ra si ilo dar sang sa daw, amo si ilo mo si ilo say, ako ngelo siya daw merbalal, kumanila sa tumru raw ng ilurior. Makasing dire ka gagawin ilurior raw ko na balsa del besi raw result mara, ay gawulan sa edel ko ra ulit kita, ada sa selsen selme ol daktak, mo mutmok lagi ilurior dede. So again, akpan mo yung sulit terung mutmok ramal yung center gidra blue belaw. After all, center adra blue. Dire kan falung ina rungut, moriate ele del metyang, yagu kwai sen adra blue matamom dina se center ka mama mla mutmok lagi magagid lurol mla momrek. You know, selbolo sila adra blue dire kan mo ina rendil. Kada maral mla kada mla imit mulbungak mading ngari Alex show madil berityang. Yagu nga sulil mo sa inmeren sa tial mo mandar tama elon mel episode rigit. Berius ice. Gore bodong simmer misel guk malbel sa ile o malm sulang.